Welcome to Basically a Therapist, but without the degree. I'm your host, Lauren Larson, and we're in season 2, episode 1. And if I'm being honest, it feels a little strange to be back here. I have thought about recording so many times over the past year and dismissed it just as quickly. I told myself if I needed more time, that I didn't really have anything like valuable to say, that maybe this podcast was just a phase, that I don't know what I'm talking about, that no one wants to hear from me. But the truth is, I let the lies of the enemy get in my head and in my heart and grow and grow and grow and take a hold. And through the fear and opinions of other people, I let it take over my voice. I started doubting myself. I started believing I had to be totally healed and completely certain or just profound to show up here. And the reason why I created Basically a Therapist was not to be an expert, but to just simply share what I've learned, share where I've been, and just to show up and invite people into that same space. And right now I am in a season of unlearning. I have been in therapy for, I want to say about 4 months now, and therapy has me peeling back layers that I didn't even know I had. I am realizing I don't exactly know who I am at this moment, and I do know that I want to show up anyway. So this isn't going to be a polished comeback or a promise to be consistent, although that is my goal. This is just an opportunity for me to be honest and to basically, quite honestly, follow God, because I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be right now and what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'll share more about that in a little bit. But if you have ever doubted your voice or put yourself on pause or ever felt unsure about who you're becoming, then this episode is for you. I recently realized that I have been prioritizing, and I would even go as far to say idolizing, the enemy's voice over my life and over God's voice. I have allowed the enemy to tear me down and keep me down and keep me stuck. I have been listening to rumors and opinions and stories that I've created about what I think other people think about me more than I have of the majority of the people who have told me that I should keep doing this. And isn't it just wild that we listen to the negative more than we do the positive? Like, I have more people for me and for this podcast and rooting me on and cheering me on and pushing me to do this than I don't. And I gave my power away to the minority. And I think back on that and I'm just like, how dumb is that? Like, literally, how dumb. And I just get so mad at myself. But we are going to practice grace because we are learning and unlearning and moving through this life as best as we know how. And sometimes we don't always get it right. And sometimes it's messy and sometimes it's ugly. And sometimes you quit and you start up again. But at least this time I'm not starting from ground zero. I have built a whole season. I'm just going to call it season 1 and season 2. And we're going to go from there. But what I'm realizing is that there will always, and I do mean always, capital always, be people who are not for you and not for what you're doing, even when it's good, even when it's healthy. There will always be people who don't like what you're doing for whatever reason. It could be that you're no longer controllable. It could be that they're jealous. It could be they feel threatened or exposed or both. But you're moving outside of the box that they created for you. And let me explain what I mean by that. We as people put expectations on others. We all do it. Whether they're spoken or unspoken, we have expectations for people. And for some people, when you don't move or act or behave or talk or interact the way that they want you to, or that they're used to you showing up as, they won't like that, because instead of facing their own self, their own insecurity or stagnation or whatever the heck it is, they'll just project judgment onto you. And what I'm coming to learn, and I know like logically I get this, but in my heart I still don't, is that we're not meant to live in the boxes that others have put us in. We are created to live for God, for His standards, by His standards and guidelines, to glorify Him and Him alone. And when people are upset with you that you're not living the way that they want you to, they will withdraw, they will attack, they'll spread rumors, and that has nothing to do with you. Our light will irritate the demons that are taking up residence in people we know and love. And we don't fight against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. And we have to remember that in this world, in this life, in this fight that we're fighting, we are not fighting people. We are fighting demonic powers. We're fighting principalities. And it's intense because it can start to feel personal, but it's honestly, and it is personal, but it's honestly an attack of the enemy, because the enemy likes to steal, kill, and destroy. And what I'm learning is that when we listen to the opinions of others more than God's, it is an absolute recipe for disaster. It's a recipe for disaster. Like literally nothing good comes from doing that. And I'm living proof. As basically a therapist's TikTok continues to exponentially grow, as random people and friends and family, etc., come up to me and ask me about when I'm starting up the podcast, and the random confirmations from sermons and therapy sessions, and when I've never hardly talked about it at all, and just random encounters come up, it's been made obvious that this is what I'm supposed to do. I also can confidently say that because this is an area that I get the most resistance, and where there is resistance, there is purpose and there is calling. And that is exactly what I have been dealing with this whole time. Like this whole time. There's been resistance for a year plus. And as I talk about therapy, I am still actively going to this day. Like I go weekly, and I'm thankful for it. It is challenging and it is hard and it is scary, but it is so important and it is so necessary. And I kind of just want to sit with you and just like, I wish I was like in front of you with like a coffee, an iced coffee, and just chilling, I wish it was fall out and there was like a nice crisp air breeze going on. And I would talk to you about what I am learning/unlearning in therapy. And it's hard, it's heavy, it's a lot. I think there's probably been one session out of the 4 months that I've been going weekly that I like did not cry. Like it's just all the time. But lately I've realized I'm unlearning a lot, even in the things I didn't even know I believed. What I've built my life, my beliefs and opinions on, and the way that I've shown up is being dismantled. In the unlearning, a lot comes in not really knowing who I am right now. And when all that I thought that I knew and who I thought I was is being challenged, I am left feeling utterly exposed, vulnerable, and alone. And it's scary not knowing exactly who I am right now. But maybe this is what healing looks like, right? Like not rushing clarity, but making peace with being in that unknown, in the in between. And I know, and I know, and I know that this process is so necessary and it's going to get better. But I also believe that it's going to get worse first. Everything will probably change because I need to change. I know that loss will come, loss of relationships, loss of opportunity, loss of friendships, loss of whatever that is. But I know, because I've seen it way too many times in my own life, that I will gain, and I will gain a lot. What I am certain of is God's replacement outweighs the loss. Anytime, any place. I am confident in that. And so, yes, growth is uncomfortable, but so is not being who God created me to be. And so I want to kind of reach out to you and get a little bit more personal, specifically to people that are also in a season where you may feel a little lost. This space is for you. I can't promise you polished answers or right answers or clear direction, but I can promise you a person who's authentic and figuring it out and wanting to share whatever resources and lessons and advice that I learned to help you too. I can promise you that you are also not alone. Like I said, this has been one of the loneliest times that I've experienced. And yes, I have a husband. Yes, I have close friends. Yes, I have family. But when you don't even know who you are, like all of that feels so lonely. It's weird. Like you can be in a room full of people, but you still feel alone. That's kind of what it feels like right now. Cause like nobody can really help you go through this. Like nobody can do the work for you. Nobody can. And so you just have to go through it. You have to surround yourself with the people that are going to be there in your corner with patience and grace and kindness and love. And so if you are in the same boat, I want to help you. If you can relate it all to me right now, I want to provide you some things that I've been trying. I just kind of briefly touched on this, but invite your closest people into this journey with you. And I know that that's scary, especially if you are somebody who is avoidant like me. Like I'm just now learning that I'm like an avoidant person. I always thought that I was semi-secure, and I'm unlearning that I'm not secure. I am kind of avoidant. And so this can be really hard, but I want to reach out to my fellow avoidants that invite people in. Let people into this process with you. You are not meant to be isolated and to go through this alone. Yes, there are seasons where God isolates you, but it doesn't mean that you should carry it alone. So find 1 to 2 people, even if it's just one person, with whom you can share what you're going through and practice what you're learning in therapy. You know, one analogy that has stuck with me for almost the 4 months that I've been going to therapy is, and this was from my therapist, is this analogy of a theater. And a theater has a stage, it has a backstage, it has a front row, it has a balcony, etc. And when you think of a backstage, you think of it as being like chaotic and messy, like during a show, like people are running around, making sure like you're ready to go for like the next scene or whatever that is. I don't know. I've never really done theater, but you know, whatever. And so it's chaotic. It's messy. They're back there running around. They're getting things ready for the next act. These are the people that you are going to invite into your mess with you, who see the authentic version of you that isn't perfectly curated, but is in that mess with you, sitting with you, getting you ready, getting you prepared. And then you have your front row people. And these are the people who are cheering you on, right? They're supporting you. They may not be in the thick of it with you. Like they may not be in the mess with you, but they are there. They're like your number one supporter. They're cheering you on, whatever. And then you have your balcony people. And these are the people that you see every so often. Maybe you grab dinner with or coffee with every so often. And nothing wrong with them, but we don't really have, they're definitely not in the backstage and they're not the front row supporters, but they're there. They're a support system for like a good time or whatever. The point of all of this is that we need people in our backstage to help us. And one of the things that I've learned is that I have not allowed people in my backstage at all. Like when my therapist asked me, who's in your backstage with you? I like opened my mouth to answer. And then I was like, I don't know. I'm not really sure. And since then I've worked on that and I've started letting people into the backstage, but you need to let people in. You need to like let people into the journey with you. There are people out there that love you, that want to help you, that want to see the best for you. And one of the, to kind of tie into all of this is like one of the things that I'm learning in therapy is that like I can take up space. This has quite literally been the anthem of my whole time in therapy so far. Like I am enough. I can take up space and it's okay. Like it's going to be okay. I have learned to minimize myself, my needs, my wants to make other people happy, to kind of keep things peaceful, quote unquote, to go with the flow. And wondering why I'm so frustrated all the time and upset and angry, like that I've like kind of suppressed and like just not really dealing with. And it's because I'm not allowing myself to be heard. I'm not allowing anything to be, I'm just not letting people in. And there are people that want to meet your needs. There are people that want to support you. I feel like I'm all over the place and I'm sorry, but whatever, this is what it is. Another thing that I've also learned is that God is not surprised by what I'm going through and that he is absolutely more than capable and able to handle all of the thoughts and feelings that I have. And thankfully, he is not expecting me to have it all together at all. And I am so thankful for that. But if there is one thing that I know, that I'm holding on to that's getting me through lately, is that I know that I'm going to get through this and I'm going to come out better. I'm holding on to this knowing that although it's uncomfortable and it's hard and it's heavy right now, it won't always be. Because when you're being called higher, when you're leveling up, it doesn't come without growing pains and loss. And I know I have things to shed that aren't from God. And so where he wants me to go, I need to let go of those things. So I don't know what this podcast is going to look like moving forward, but I do know this, that I'm going to commit to showing up in spite of the doubt. I literally am having doubts right now as I'm recording here. It just sucks. It never ends in my brain. But I'm going to commit to showing up in spite of the doubt until God tells me not to. And that's it. This is a quick one, but there are a lot of topics and a lot of things on my heart that I know that I want to talk about. And I know that they're on my heart for a reason, because I know I'm not the only one going through this stuff. And this world is already so heavy and stressful and scary and can feel lonely. And so if even one of these videos or one of the clips that I post on my social media like helps in the least, then it's worth it. It's just totally worth it. And so if you have any topics or any ideas or questions that you want me to talk about on here, please comment below, shoot me an email. I have a website that you can go on, that you can send me a message. It's thelaurenlarson.com, I think. Go on there, like send me. I want topics. I want to hear from you. I want to know, but I have some stuff that I want to talk about, and I think it's going to be helpful. And I know that it's on my heart for a reason. So thank you so much for being here with me. If you haven't yet, please like this video, subscribe, follow. Your support means the world to me. And I'll see you next time.